As far as I know, Mike, no. Something I've been meaning to pitch to the programmers, and I'll probably do it later tonight, is if a tank is given a pause order or something like that. Yeah, I believe if you give a pause order, it'll work. But other than that, no. Normally they'll just stick to the tank. You want to make sure that you give them enough time to get off. So yeah, you don't want to play it too tight with the timing there. Okay, I'm going to run this tank around because there's no enemy infantry close enough to really attack this tank. I'm going to run him around and we're going to knock out that armored car. I believe it works like that. I don't really use it, so there's a chance I might be wrong. And if it doesn't work like that, I'm actually going to check that out after the battle's over, or after this stream is over. Oh, looks, we've spotted an enemy tank. So there we've got some enemy armor. Panzer IV. Looks like it's defending this objective here, so we're going to want to knock that guy out. He's also spotted my infantry. Tanks versus your infantry is not a good thing. So this is a good example of where to use that fast command. We're going to run these guys as fast as we can. Whoops. We're going to run these guys as fast as we can away from the edge of this wood line so the tank doesn't spot them anymore. Run, run, run. Otherwise that tank's going to blow them up. Okay, so I want to kill that enemy tank. Okay, so he is in a pretty decent position. He's protected from the sides. You can see right here through this arc, like right here. You can see he's going to see my tanks as they come down the road. So I have a couple choices how I can do this. So what you see over here, I'm considering moving my tanks this way, but there's one thing you have to be careful of. What you see over here is some marsh. This is ground that for the most part infantry can move through, but vehicles cannot. So yeah, we do not want to move vehicles through this. They usually can't. And adjoining it, you can see some mud here. Vehicles can move through this, but you want to move them slowly or they have a high chance of bogging and maybe immobilizing themselves. That's something we haven't really gone over, is vehicles can bog, which means they'll temporarily be immobilized, or they can get permanently immobilized when they're moving across ground if they're going across rough ground, like if they're moving through these forests. The rougher the ground, the higher the chance, and the faster they move, the higher the chance. So there's a couple ways we can take on this enemy tank. I can either move both tanks forward and just hope to overwhelm him. You know, he might kill one, but the other one will get him, kind of thing. Or I can move them around and try and hit him from the side. That's going to be tricky because of this marsh here. It looks like I might be able to get them through right here. However, I think he'll be able to see them anyways. It looks like he might be able to see through that. So I think I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm just going to run them forward, both of them, and rely on the fact that both of them should be able to kill him. He might get one, but one of them will get him. So then I'm going to move him up forward, and then I'm going to give him a covered armor arc to make sure he actually shoots at that tank and not something else. There's not really anything you can do about a bog. You just have to wait and hope. Once the bog happens, it's all up to the AI. Oh, and I got lucky that tank's round landed short. Okay, so here we go. Moment of truth. Let's see if these guys pull it off. Okay, you can see that if I selected the tank, he knows that there's something there, but he hasn't identified it yet. You can see the floating icon there, the contact icon. He still hasn't spotted it. Come on, tank. Come on, tank. There he goes. He spotted it. Okay, now he's going to engage. And we got it. It's down. All right. And you can see enemy infantry who tried to shoot the tank commander, and they are smart enough that if they get some accurate incoming fire, they will button up. That's actually a useful thing to do, if you don't mind expending some infantry, is to shoot at the enemy and unbutton enemy vehicles with rifle fire. If you can afford, to have a couple tank shells lobbed your way and you can run away, it'll button them up and it'll degrade their spotting. It's actually a useful way to degrade the tank. And if you hit the commander, that's a bonus. Okay, let's actually see this guy. I want to see this guy nail the armored car. Nice. On the move, too. Yeah, armored car is just no match for a tank. Okay, that's the turn. Go ahead and save. Okay, how are my guys doing over here? They escaped almost unscathed because they ran away from that tank as fast as possible. They only lost 3 guys, so that went pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and continue to move them forward through this tree line. They're going to use this covered tree line to approach the German command post. It's a good covered and concealed route to approach safely to get closer. Okay, so now that the tank is dead, I can go ahead and give them clear targets so they can just fire on targets they're choosing. So, I know there's something here. This tank can't spot it, though, so here's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to button him up, because I don't want the tank commander to get shot. I'm going to move him forward, and then I'm going to see where the icon is. It's right there. Click the last waypoint. Give him a... Ah, he can't see it. Darn it. And then at the end of the waypoint, I'll give him a target command. He'll start shooting at that spot. Yeah, I haven't installed the RAM yet. I actually have to buy new parts and rearrange the inside of my computer to get the RAM to fit with my cooling tower. It's very irritating. I should have the time now that Red Thunder is out. Before, I just didn't have any free time. So yeah, I gave the tank an order to fire here. It's going to engage with both its main gun and its machine gun. The units in general will just pick what they want to fire with. Oh, see, now that was an anti-tank rocket, and that's a good example of why you don't get too close to enemy infantry. This is probably a Panzerschreck. Yeah, it's a Panzerschreck in the woods here. And it just barely missed. Yeah, it just barely missed it. Went right over the top. So that's going to be a priority target. I'm going to want to kill that thing really quickly. He already spotted it. You'll notice that here's another example of smart AI. I gave him an order to shoot at this, but he detected this as the bigger threat, so he turned to engage that instead. That was another Panzerfaust, or Panzerschreck that came from right there. Went right over him. Now that he cannot see the target anymore, he's switching to actually fire at what I told him to shoot at. So this is a pretty long range for that Panzerschreck, so it's going to be pretty inaccurate. The chances of him hitting it are fairly low. Yeah, that's 180 meters. That's at the pretty much the outer limits of its capabilities. Yeah, good point, Kubeko. So these Panzerschrecks, we obviously can't use them because we're the Russians, but when you're the Germans, you're going to make a lot of use out of them. Panzerschrecks and Panzerfausts. Panzerfausts are carried by squads as sort of like a secondary weapon that they carry on their backs. So the deal with them is they are a recoilless, like rocket weapon. They do have a big backblast. You can shoot them from buildings, but there is a risk to it. You risk injuring your units or suppressing them because of the hot gases coming out the back that can hit the walls and recoil and basically come back onto the guys. So you want to be, you can shoot them from them, but you want to be careful about doing that and avoid it when possible, because it will hurt your units, or it has a very high chance of it. Okay, we should be getting, let's see how long it is till we get that fire mission coming on. It's in receiving mode, delivery in 1 minute. In 1 minute, we're going to hit this German command post hard with artillery. So these guys are continuing to move up the woods here. German attack here is pretty much totally petered off. There's just going to be some stragglers hiding around the woods. I'm not concerned with them. They are not part of my mission. So those guys should, if not obliterated, they should be very unhappy. Looks like we got a machine gun here too. Looks like they're hiding in the foxholes here. There he is. Get a tank to shoot it in next time. So often with the tanks shooting at infantry targets, they're going to be using area fire since it's hard for them to spot infantry. Okay, let's get this tank shooting at this machine gun nest. We're going to go ahead and stop moving my guys. I don't want them to get too close to that or they might get hit with shell fragments flying away. And there's the artillery strike. Notice, no warning whatsoever, just it goes into immediate fire for effect on the target reference point. So when you're assaulting an objective, suppressive fire, you tend to want to be liberal with it. You want to suppressive fire some more, and then when you think it's done, fire a little bit more, unless you really have to watch your ammo. Yeah, you can't really go wrong with a ton of suppressive fire on a position. Because as you can see, I put a bunch of tank shells in that spot, and that anti-tank team is still alive, at least part of them anyways. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and move them up a little bit further, since now I know that the artillery mission's not going to be off target. I'm not going to use assault because I'm too far away from the objective. I don't want to tire these guys out. They're already tired. I don't want to exhaust them before they even reach the objective. So a good idea while you're using these tanks in a battle, you want to monitor their ammo. You want to make sure you don't run them out of ammo. Check their damage, make sure that they're not incurring a bunch of damage, or if they do have damage, you then know how to use that vehicle differently. As you can see, all of my tanks are undamaged still.